He was interviewed apparently about the charges against him by Marjorie. I guess Marjorie Taylor Greene is this woman's stunt double. Yeah.
Obviously want to get to why you're here, what America First is all about, but I think we need to get to the elephant that's in the room and talk.
Yes, they're standing. That's why the wall is gray. It's a giant elephant.
About the sexual misconduct allegations that you're facing. You're under investigation. I have to just ask you point blank. Did you
Are you staring at my boobs right now?
ever pay to have sex with a minor or a...
No, he paid to have sex with... He doesn't think he paid to have sex. He think he was just paying for tuition.
woman?
I have never paid to have sex with anyone, and I have not had sex with a 17-year-old since I was 17.
That's bullshit too. I mean, like that's just a trite statement. If you're in high school, and I mean, I don't know what his sex life was in high school, but I wasn't 17 when I slept with a 17-year-old. I was 15.
So these allegations are false. The truth will prevail.
The truth is already currently prevailing, Matt.
Very confident in that, but it certainly shows you what anonymous allegations can do.
Anonymous? Dude, your running buddy is turning on you. He released the text messages about the Venmos. They're not anonymous. He rolled on you.
When just repeated over and over by an America Last media. I thought it was something when a CNN director was literally caught on tape saying the reason they were repeating this propaganda about me was because I was effective at standing in the way of this socialist agenda.
Really? Is that what he said? I didn't see the what he's talking about, but I'm gonna go that they posted that stuff because he's a loudmouth and he's known. And that's why it was on the news a lot. Whereas, and same thing with like Dennis Hastert, that was known a lot. Mark Foley was less of one, right? So that was a rumble in the news, but they got rid of him. And then I think I don't know what, did he go to jail?
So let me ask you then about Joel Greenberg, a friend.
Ouch. Yeah. AKA anonymous douchebag.
Of yours. He obviously is facing
very good friend, a wingman, one would say.
33 federal charges. There is concern that maybe that some people have been accusing you of not necessarily paying for sex, but
Damn. By the way, Real America Voice News. Did he just think this was like OAN and missed the, or are these just people who are like, we're pro MTG, but we don't like Matt. We don't like MG.
Escorts in exchange for political favors.
That is total nonsense. I cannot deny that in stronger possible terms.
Yeah, you cannot deny that in stronger possible terms. He can't. Listen to the reverse language in this shit. Say that
for
again.
Sex, but getting escorts in exchange for political favors.
That is total nonsense. I cannot deny that in stronger.
You can't deny it just by saying it's nonsense? I can listen to this statement. Please listen to this statement.
Political favors.
That is total nonsense. I cannot deny that in stronger possible terms. I think in everyone's life, there's probably someone that they've made friends with where they regret that friendship. And certainly in my case, that has been true. But that does not append to any.
What are you talking about, Joel? Or are you just making a generic statement that we're to assume means your relationship with Joel?
Criminal conduct on my part.
Are you saying that you regret that friendship and you guys are no longer friends?
I've not communicated with Mr. Greenberg in quite some time. Our friendship
Yeah, he's been in jail since last year.
ended quite some time ago.
So what?
Yeah, we know. He's been in jail for quite some. He was indicted quite some time ago. You stopped returning his phone calls when he was indicted. What the hell? And saying something is nonsense, and then saying you cannot deny it in stronger terms than saying it's nonsense, that's your strongest defense. It's nonsense. That didn't sound like a flippant, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Really? If I'm just saying, were it I, I would go, that's nonsense. And I couldn't deny that in stronger possible terms, except for with these receipts and these text messages and this other evidence that proves that I was nowhere near the place. The reason he can't deny it with any stronger possible terms than nonsense is because he can't deny it.
What do you think is going to come about with these investigations?
5 to 7?
I don't know. I just
Community service? How ironic.
know that I haven't
For a sitting congressman to get community service, and that's the first work he will have done for his community.
done anything that broke the law, and I'm confident that the truth will prevail.
All right. Let's talk.
Say
That
again?
broke the law, and
Hold on. Say again?
sometime our friendship ended quite some time ago.
So what do you think is going to come about with these investigations?
I don't know. I just know that I haven't done anything that broke the law.
Uh-huh. So you're threading the law part of this? Technically, having a sugar baby isn't prostitution, Your Honor. I even put for tuition in the Venmo thing. That's not prostitution. The ecstasy, that's all. That happened. You can't test my blood now.
And I'm confident that the truth will prevail.
Uh-huh. The truth that technically speaking you skirted it, and that there's no way to prove you had sex with her, other than of course the text messages that she got from Joel Greenberg where he yelled at her for being underage.
Let's talk about America first.
Yeah, something. Whew, got through that.
You're kicking it off tonight. What is the purpose of this? Because you
What's your point?
represent the
Well, I always walk around with a flag behind me, and I think that's all you need to know, really.
first congressional district. This is not your district. So why are you here?
This is an
Damn. Who is this chick? She's amazing. See, I mean, I would guess from Real America Voice News that she was straight up OAN-ish, but she's not having it. Look at her face. This isn't even your district. What are you doing here? God damn. Ouch. I mean, just put on a yellow dress, hang out with blonde hair, and Matt'll just come to you like a bug light.
national tour to reinvigorate the
Reinvigorating it is very important.
positive populist spirit embodied by President Trump. We need to make America rally again. We need people to be able
Make America Mara.
to come and show their love of country, especially with what the Democrats are doing in Washington, D.C. We are
You mean passing the biggest rescue package in American history and then passing the largest infrastructure bill in American history? That part?
on the march to socialism, where they are subsidizing
No, we're not.
policies that encourage lockdowns and diminished economic output from our people and more.
Dude, those aren't permanent. Socialism would be the permanent action of those. We're still in this shit. We're coming out of it. 35% of the public has been vaccinated. We've lost over 600,000 of our fellow Americans. The Democrats are trying to get out of this shit.
More reliance on the government. And so
Get vaccinated. As part of this, tell everybody in your friggin' crowd to get vaccinated so we can open up sooner. Because I don't want to, thank you. I don't want to kill maggots ever. On purpose or accidentally by spreading something. It's one of the other reasons. Man.
I'm here with Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene in Florida,
She went to Dutch Brothers and brought me back a beverage.
my home state, but we're going to be going all over the country.
But let me ask you this, because you
Oh, she is not letting this dude go. I was, honest to God, I thought that was teeing up like an OAN interview. Look at the regret on his face right now.
yourself are facing, controversy right now. She is certainly not
Look at his hands. Oh, shit. Eject.
immune to that. She was kicked off a couple committees. Why Marjorie Taylor Greene? And again, this is
Why? Yeah. this ain't her district. This isn't your district. What are you doing here?
Even her state, Georgia. Are you possibly making a run for governor? You thinking that may happen?
I'm running from more things than I'm running for these days.
Oh, damn.
Governor, you thinking that may happen?
I'm running from more things than I'm running for these days. But what I can tell you about
Christ. Why would you think saying that helps?
Congresswoman Green is that
Dude, like, this might as well be called the Ripcord Tour.
she is a fighter, and I admire that. And the people who
She's a flailer. She is a flailer. There's no fight here. This is just like wig snatching and rando side punches. Fighter. I don't need fighters in Washington, D.C. Unless they're in the military, I guess. I mean, I need people interested in democracy.
who are showing up today in droves admire that as well about her.
Showing up, you're at the villages. Where the fuck are they gonna go? There are only 3 paths there, and they all lead to the clubhouse you're in.
I think that I am far more afraid of socialism than I am of scandal. And you know what?
You shouldn't be. Because socialism is a boogeyman, and you pulled it out of your ass, and you're waving it around to try and protect you from the scandal that is very, very, very real.
They come for the fighters. They came for Trump. They went for Donald Trump Jr., Steve Bannon, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Jim
Crooks.
Jordan, myself. There is a commonality to those who are
Yes, you are all engaged in sexual depravity at the base and massive international criminality at worst. Jim Jordan, how did they come for him? He's a loudmouth and who talks shit in committee all the time. He doesn't put on a jacket. It's this branding exercise. The reason people can't stand Jim Jordan is not simply for those reasons. There have been tons of those people over the years. People used to think that of Joe Biden all the time when he was in Congress. It's that he turned a blind eye to sexual assault hundreds of times. That's why Jim is spelled G-Y-M.
targeted by big government and big media.
But you're in the government.
It's that we actually stand in battle.
But nonetheless,
And by the way, Little Media is kicking your ass right now. That's her Indian name, by the way.
you've had some critics, same with Marjorie Taylor Greene from your own party, who are actually describing this as the distraction tour. What's your
I mean, that's very flattering. No one is distracted by this. It's a fucking waste of time.
response to that?
We're no longer in a time of our politics where it is the red team versus the blue team. It is this establishment of both parties against the rest of us.
Right, so you're running against your own party. Which, again, please, more dates. I hope they go everywhere.
And there are more of us than there are of them.
No, they're not. You said that during your thing. It's not true.
And that scares them, and it should.
No, I'm not scared at all. You're outnumbered. This is ridiculous. You're a minority party, and you're getting smaller.
The fact that Marjorie Taylor Greene and I are able to come to Florida.
Yeah, is amazing. In a country that's run by socialist commies, I'm surprised we don't have a papers law.
A swing state, and turn out more.
A swing state?
People than any 2024 presidential aspirant would be able to turn out, not named Trump. It tells you where the energy is in our movement.
What are you talking about? But, okay, other Republicans, I guess? Jesus. At the Glades, or the villages? I'm thinking the Everglades.
It's with America first. It's with us. It's not with this Liz Cheney, Mitch McConnell, Mitt Romney vision of the party. We are the future, not them.
So what would you say to some Republicans who are critical of this tour?
Oh, I love this. She's just not letting this go. Shit, this is like seeing when they sick a dog on like an armed robber.
who think that this could actually hurt Republicans when it comes to the midterm election.
Yes, that's why I support this 100%. I'm behind this. I love this. Go, Matt Gaetz, go.
They said the same thing about Donald Trump. They said,
Yeah, and they lost the House and the Senate, dumbass. They were right. The reason why 90% or 80% of Republicans support Donald Trump or think he was a great president is because there are fewer and fewer Republicans than ever before. It's the same number of people, but they're just more of a percentage of the party because the sane ones are leaving.
that these big rallies where people
Trump Axios interview? Is there? Oh, it reminds them of this.
came
Yeah.
and stood by the American flag and showed their patriotism were somehow
Stood by the American flag? You stand for it, asshole. Just because you have one right behind you at all times does not mean you give a fuck. I'm sick of this faux patriotism bullshit. And you guys know me. I'm not willing to cede patriotism, love of country, the flag, the Constitution, a belief in America as a force for good, all that stuff. That's all stuff I genuinely believe. Not this LARPing horseshit version of it that they plaster all over the goddamn place, yelling freedom and patriot everywhere, but their patriotism only applies to half the goddamn country, and their idea of freedom only applies to, like, gun ownership and the ability to, like, not stop when a cop pulls you over. Fuck off.
nativist, that we were deplorables for showing up.
No, not Hillary Clinton literally said all the people who support Trump are not bad. Obviously there's the basket of deplorables, the complete scumbags who not only don't mind his 27 credible sexual assault allegations against him, but wish they could live like that. That's a group of sick fuckers. But the rest of them are reachable, the vast majority. It was Trump that wanted all the rest of them that were reachable to believe that she was talking about them as the minority in his support base.
At these rallies, and ultimately it led to a victory. So it's my expectation.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. He lost the House, then he lost the Senate, and he had his ass handed to him in the election. Trump is a loser.
That giving people a reason to believe, being optimistic, will only help to grow our party. And we are in a time of political realignment. I think that what Republicans and Democrats stand for is up for debate in some circumstances. For example, the people who are critics of Marjorie Taylor Greene and I have a very neoconservative view of the world. They think we need to invade
She's like, but bullshit.
a lot of places, start a lot of new wars, and that's a position we don't hold.
But you mentioned conservative, right? So we're here in the Villages, obviously a conservative stronghold here. There's a large number of people here that voted for Trump. This seems like a safe place for you to be. Why kick off your tour here?
Where in a safe space.
I far prefer the swamps of Florida to the swamps of Washington, D.C. When the establishment
Did you see her blink? She's like, this bullshit. Don't give me these little cut phrases, you creep. Like, this woman knows she is talking to a man who has sexually assaulted a minor or was, like, grooming a minor so he could sexually, lead her into sex after she was an adult, when she turned 18. So he either had sex with a minor or groomed a minor for sex later. And she knows this. She's got that all over her face. She's got this look. Fuck you, dude.
I far prefer the swamps of Florida to the swamps of Washington, D.C.
Watch her.
When the establishment have
Just,
political events, they invite people to Washington. But we're actually going out in the country, and we're going to go a lot of places. Florida's still a swing state.
Where are you going next?
Well, we still have to decide that. We haven't.
they're not going anywhere. It's not a tour. Dude. When I made tour shirts for 01, we had a gig in Toronto, we had a gig in LA, and we had a gig in New York. And then eventually we had literally a Midwestern tour. But I made these fun shirts that had mostly LA gigs on them. But we actually had we were performing in another goddamn country before I was calling it a tour. I've toured this whole goddamn country my entire adult life. Dude has one gathering at the fucking Villages, and he's calling it the America First Tour. It's the Villages First Tour.
Announced it yet.
Oh, come on, give us a little hint.
What I could tell
Come on, dude, say one of them. Tell us the truth. You don't have any other gigs booked.
you is that there's probably a lot of work still to do in Georgia. You know, Georgia's a state that was reliably.
There's probably a lot. What are you going to do? Go to Georgia and have a gathering like this and another Republican, another preach to the choir fest?
Red that has gone blue in some very marked ways. I think election integrity is very much on the ballot in Georgia in a lot of ways.
Election integrity is on the ballot. Think about that for a second. Election integrity is on the ballot. I wonder what to vote for, or if it'll even matter.
So we might stay in an SEC state for the next stop.
Okay, so that's the only hint that we get.
That's right.
What's the number one message that you want to convey today during this speech?
That I'm not guilty, and that I don't really know Joel Greenberg, and
America is a wonderful, splendid place. The other
splendid. America's a many splendor thing. America is a many splendored thing. Cuckoo.
party in our politics wants to
I am the walrus.
convince us that
Well, it's Florida, I mean manatee.
America is intractably racist, that people that stand
It's not intractably racist. Having systemic racism in the system is not indicative that the system itself is primarily racist in its existence. Nobody's trying to give up jury trials, that defund the police and get rid of police entirely. And I don't care what, again, we're talking on real human beings, not moon-based asshole that we talk about, like the activist class on either side. I'm not going to discuss people who are like, get rid of all cops, let everybody out of jail, any more than I'm going to talk like about sovereign citizens who sit in their car going, this is my country, and I don't have to show you ID. Like, fuck off. But the Earth, normal human beings, we Americans that actually operate in reality,
for the flag are somehow nativist or a problem that needs to be corrected. They want to teach critical race theory in our schools and convince us to hate one another. And so the main message we want to spread is a positive one about our fellow Americans, about our neighbors. And we want to invite
unless they're DACA recipients, in which case
people to a positive movement that
Next
loves
time
our
I
country
try.
and that will fight for her.
Congressman Gaetz, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Look, and you see, like, I mean, beyond COVID, no handshake. She was out.